What happens when a stranded Earth pilot faces execution on an alien world, only to be saved by the Empire's princess herself? You won't believe how their forbidden connection threatens to rewrite the rules of two civilizations and ignite a love that could end centuries of war. The crimson glow of exploding starfighters illuminated the void as Ludwig Walter's battered interceptor spiraled toward the alien planet below. Warning alarms screamed through his helmet as he fought to maintain control, each jolt sending fresh waves of pain through his injured body. The battle above KCLOYS had been a massacre, Earth's finest pilots falling like leaves in a storm against the superior forces of the Empire. Through the cracked viewport, Ludwig watched burning debris rain down around him, marking the graves of his comrades. As his ship tore through the atmosphere, turbulence threatened to rip it apart. His hands gripped the controls with white-knuckled determination, every movement sending sharp stabs through his ribs. Below stretched an alien landscape of towering crystalline structures and sprawling fungal forests, their bioluminescent glow casting eerie shadows across the ground. The instruments were failing, life support flickering dangerously, but Ludwig refused to give up. Not after watching his entire squadron get slaughtered by those merciless Zalirian bastards. The crash was inevitable, but Ludwig managed to steer his crippled fighter away from populated areas, aiming for a dense forest of glowing purple trees. As the ship plowed into the alien vegetation, the impact threw him forward against his restraints. Darkness claimed him amidst the cacophony of splintering crystal wood and hissing hydraulics. When consciousness returned, Ludwig found himself pinned in the wreckage, the acrid smell of burnt circuitry mixing with the sweet, alien scent of crushed foliage. We've only just begun this story, but trust me, it's about to get even more intense. Stay tuned to witness what happens when our hero faces an impossible choice that will change everything. The sound of approaching voices snapped Ludwig back to full awareness. Through his fractured canopy, he could make out elongated shadows moving between the glowing trees. Their language was unlike anything he'd ever heard, a series of melodic clicks and resonant hums that seemed to vibrate through his very bones. He tried to reach for his sidearm, but the twisted metal of the cockpit pinned his arm at an awkward angle. Pain shot through his shoulder as he struggled against the wreckage. The first glimpse of his captors sent a chill through him. Their tall, slender forms moved with unnatural grace, their skin shimmering like liquid silver under the forest's bioluminescent glow. Large, almond-shaped eyes dominated their elegant faces, reflecting the light in prismatic patterns. One of them stepped closer, its long fingers extending toward the wreckage. Ludwig tensed, expecting attack or interrogation, but instead, the creature produced a small device that emitted a soft blue light. To his astonishment, the pain in his trapped arm began to subside. Hours later, Ludwig found himself in a sterile chamber deep within an alien facility. His injuries had been tended to by silent medical drones, though his movement remained restricted by energy restraints. The leader of his captors entered, a striking figure whose bearing suggested authority beyond mere military rank. Her voice, when she finally spoke in halting but precise English, carried an otherworldly resonance that made his skin tingle. "You are Warrior of Earth?" she asked, tilting her head with curiosity rather than hostility. Despite his situation, Ludwig couldn't help but notice something different about this one. While the others maintained cold professionalism, her gaze held a spark of genuine interest. She introduced herself as Commander Silra, though something about the name felt off. Later, during his solitary confinement, he discovered why hidden surveillance footage revealed her true identity as Princess Alitera, third in line to the Zalirian throne. The realization hit him like a thunderclap. The Empire's most wanted prisoner was being guarded by their own royalty. "We're reaching the tipping point," What happens next will shatter everything you think you know about this conflict. You can't afford to miss how these revelations unfold. Days blurred into weeks as Ludwig adapted to his captivity. The princess visited regularly under the guise of routine inspections, each encounter pushing boundaries neither dared acknowledge. During these visits, she would bring holoscreens displaying Earth's space battles, explaining Zalirian tactics with an analytical precision that fascinated him. Her knowledge wasn't just theoretical. She'd served as a tactical officer before her royal duties confined her to administrative roles. They debated strategy, their conversations growing increasingly personal despite the invisible barrier of species and circumstance. The turning point came during an unexpected power fluctuation that plunged the detention level into darkness. Alone in his cell, Ludwig heard the soft whisper of approaching footsteps. The emergency lights revealed Alitera, not in her commander's uniform but dressed in simple civilian robes that accentuated her natural grace. Without a word, she deactivated his restraints, handing him a small device. "This way," she urged, leading him through maintenance tunnels that pulsed with organic light. Every step risked discovery, yet neither hesitated. Their mutual understanding transcended words. They both knew this moment marked a point of no return. The escape route took them through sectors of the facility Ludwig hadn't seen before. Research labs filled with strange equipment, chambers where crystalline growths pulsed with contained energy, and vast data repositories humming with alien knowledge. Alitera navigated them with practiced ease, occasionally pausing to interface with security systems using biometric locks that responded to her touch alone. At one point, they crouched behind a bank of servers as a patrol passed, their proximity forcing them to breathe shallowly. The tension between survival instinct and growing attraction became almost unbearable. Reaching the surface proved more challenging than anticipated. A sudden alarm indicated their absence had been discovered, sending shockwaves through the complex. Alitara's expression hardened as she activated secondary protocols, rerouting security measures while guiding Ludwig toward an abandoned landing pad. The night sky above swirled with auroras, casting shifting patterns across her features as she worked. When a sleek transport vessel descended silently from the heavens, Ludwig realized this had been planned far in advance. The princess wasn't merely helping him escape. She was betting everything on their uncertain future together. The journey across KSLLYS tested their resolve in ways neither had anticipated. Alitera piloted the stolen craft with expert precision, weaving through atmospheric disturbances that would have grounded lesser pilots. Ludwig watched her hands dance across the controls, noting how her silver skin reflected the instrument panel's glow. Each maneuver brought them closer to freedom but further from everything familiar. The weight of their decision pressed heavily upon them, manifesting in stolen glances and unspoken questions. Their destination lay in the Forbidden Expanse, a region of KSALLYS considered sacred by imperial decree. Here, ancient ruins rose from the landscape like petrified trees, their crystalline structures humming with forgotten energy. Alitera explained that these remnants predated recorded history, containing knowledge that could alter the balance of power between species. As they landed near a particularly massive formation, Ludwig felt an inexplicable pull, as if the very air vibrated with anticipation. The princess moved with purpose, leading him through corridors that seemed to shift and change with each step. Their exploration revealed chambers filled with holographic records, preserved in perfect detail despite millennia of abandonment. Images of ancient battles danced before their eyes, conflicts between humans and Zalirians that predated current hostilities. These weren't historical accounts but lived experiences, captured by technology far beyond either of their civilizations. Alitara's hands trembled as she accessed files showing peace treaties and cultural exchanges, evidence of a time when their species had coexisted. The implications struck Ludwig like a physical blow. Everything he'd been taught about Zalirians was built on carefully constructed lies. As they delved deeper, the air grew thick with static electricity, causing their hair to rise. The walls began projecting scenes directly into their minds, bypassing conventional sensory input. Ludwig witnessed moments from Zalirian history through Alitara's ancestors' eyes, the establishment of the empire, the gradual corruption of ideals, and the systematic erasure of peaceful past relations. Each revelation strengthened his conviction that their forbidden connection represented more than personal rebellion. It symbolized hope for reconciliation between their peoples. The discovery of the truth catalyzed a transformation in their relationship. No longer bound by fear or duty, they allowed themselves moments of vulnerability beneath the ancient ruins' watchful gaze. Alitara revealed fragments of her childhood, stolen moments of freedom before royal obligations claimed her life. She spoke of gazing at Earth's blue in the night sky, wondering about the beings who shared their galaxy. Ludwig countered with stories of growing up in Earth's orbital colonies, dreaming of stars beyond humanity's reach. Their physical connection developed with cautious intensity. Skin-to-skin contact between their species generated unique bioelectric currents, creating sensations neither had experienced before. During their first embrace, Ludwig felt as if he'd touched pure energy, while Alitara described it as connecting with the universe's fundamental frequencies. These moments of intimacy became both sanctuary and battleground, each touch reinforcing their bond while highlighting the vast differences between their physiologies. The ruins responded to their growing connection, activating dormant systems that projected their combined genetic information into the air. Ancient machinery whirred to life, analyzing their compatibility with clinical precision. The results shocked them both. Their DNA shared unexpected similarities, suggesting a common ancestry scientists had never detected. This revelation aligned with the historical records they'd uncovered, hinting at a shared evolutionary path diverged by cosmic events rather than biological impossibility. As days turned into weeks, they established routines that blended human and Zalirian customs. Meals became elaborate rituals combining Earth's culinary traditions with Alitara's people's nutrient-dense crystal formations. Sleep cycles synchronized naturally, their bodies adapting to shared rhythms despite originating from different worlds. Each waking moment deepened their understanding of one another, building a foundation that transcended mere attraction or rebellion against societal norms. Imperial forces eventually breached their sanctuary, arriving with calculated brutality that left no room for negotiation. The initial assault came at dawn, when shafts of alien sunlight illuminated the ruins' crystalline spires. Alitara's quick thinking saved them from immediate capture. She triggered ancient defense mechanisms that transformed the ruins into a labyrinth of shifting walls and deadly energy fields. As they fled through the morphing corridors, Ludwig caught glimpses of pursuing soldiers, their weapons sparking against force fields that shouldn't have existed. The chase evolved into a deadly game of cat and mouse across levels of the ruins neither had explored before. Emergency protocols activated hidden passages, revealing chambers filled with dormant war machines and defensive systems. Alitara interfaced with these ancient technologies using her biometric signature, awakening them to protect their presence. Towering constructs emerged from the floor, their crystalline bodies refracting light into blinding patterns that disoriented their pursuers. During one particularly harrowing escape through a chamber of floating gravity platforms, Ludwig's combat training proved invaluable. He coordinated with Alitara to create diversions, using their understanding of Zalirian tactics against their own people. The princess manipulated environmental controls while he set traps using ancient weaponry systems, their teamwork becoming almost telepathic. Each success bought them precious seconds, but the net tightened inexorably. The final confrontation occurred in the heart of the ruins, where the ancient archive core pulsed with accumulated knowledge. Imperial forces surrounded them, led by Alitara's own brother, Prince Zinther. His expression held none of his sister's compassion, only cold calculation as he demanded their surrender. The air crackled with tension as Alitara stepped forward, her voice carrying authority that transcended family ties. "You cannot destroy what has already been awakened," she declared, gesturing to the glowing core behind them. "The truth will spread regardless of our fate." The standoff in the archive chamber revealed layers of betrayal that neither Ludwig nor Alitara had anticipated. Prince Zinther's forces hesitated, their weapons wavering as the ancient core began broadcasting recovered historical records throughout the ruins. Holographic projections of peaceful human-Zalirian interactions materialized around them, undeniable evidence of their shared past. Soldiers exchanged uneasy glances, their conditioning challenged by irrefutable proof of manipulated history. The princess seized this moment of doubt, addressing her brother with controlled fury. "You knew," she accused, advancing despite the weapons trained on her. "You've always known about our true origins. That's why you destroyed the diplomatic archives and suppressed any research into our genetic similarities." Zinther's silence confirmed her suspicions, though his troops remained conflicted. Ludwig watched as centuries of imperial propaganda crumbled before their eyes, replaced by harsh reality. The prince's next words chilled them both. "Knowledge without control is chaos. Our people aren't ready for the truth." Alitara's response demonstrated strategic brilliance born of desperation. She activated additional archive functions, flooding the ruins with more revelations, not just of peaceful coexistence, but of technological advancements achieved through collaboration. Ancient designs for energy systems, medical breakthroughs, and terraforming techniques materialized in the air around them. Soldiers lowered their weapons as they recognized technologies currently attributed solely to Zalirian genius. Ludwig grasped the significance immediately. These discoveries could revolutionize both societies, making continued hostility absurd. The situation escalated when the archive core initiated a fail-safe protocol, threatening to broadcast all recovered information planet-wide. Zinther ordered his troops to destroy the system, but their hesitation bought crucial seconds. Alitara manipulated the core's interface, creating a direct link between it and the planet's communication network. The air vibrated with potential as she turned to address her brother one final time. "Choose your legacy, Zinther. Be remembered as the one who maintained ignorance, or as the catalyst for enlightenment." Chaos erupted as the archive's contents began transmitting across KSALLYS. Soldiers divided into factions, some following Zinther's orders to disable the system while others protected the transmission. Alitara and Ludwig found themselves at the center of a maelstrom, defending the core while trying to expand its reach. The princess's intimate knowledge of imperial communications proved invaluable as she routed the signal through multiple channels, making it nearly impossible to contain. Ludwig coordinated with sympathetic soldiers, organizing defensive positions that maximized their limited resources. The archive room transformed into a battlefield of competing ideologies. Energy weapons discharged in flashes of violet and gold, their beams reflecting off crystalline surfaces to create dazzling displays of destruction. Floating platforms rearranged themselves constantly, forcing combatants to adapt mid-fight. Alitara moved with fluid grace, her movements enhanced by the same ancient technology that powered the ruins. She disabled enemy weapons with precise strikes to vulnerable points, demonstrating martial skills hidden beneath her royal demeanor. Ludwig's human physiology gave him unexpected advantages in the close-quarters combat. His denser musculature allowed him to withstand impacts that would incapacitate Zalirians, while his shorter stature made him harder to target among the shifting architecture. Together, they created a formidable team, anticipating each other's moves with uncanny precision. When Zinther personally joined the fray, wielding a prototype weapon capable of disrupting the archive systems, their coordination reached new heights. The prince's intervention forced a critical decision. Alitera could terminate the transmission to prevent catastrophic system overload, or risk everything to ensure the truth reached every corner of the empire. As energy readings climbed into dangerous territory, she made her choice, overriding safety protocols to maximize broadcast range. The chamber filled with searing light as the archive core pushed beyond its limits, its crystalline structure fracturing under the strain. Soldiers shielded their eyes as waves of information radiated outward, carrying centuries of suppressed knowledge to every connected device on the planet. The aftermath of the archive's self-destruction left the chamber in ruins, its crystalline remains still pulsing with residual energy. Alitera collapsed against Ludwig, both physically and emotionally drained from their ordeal. Around them, former enemies helped each other rise from the debris, their expressions reflecting dawning comprehension as the truth settled into their consciousness. Zinther stood apart, his weapon lowered but his stance defiant, surrounded by loyalists who now questioned their loyalty. News of the broadcast spread rapidly across KSLOS, igniting debates that quickly escalated into widespread unrest. Citizens gathered in public squares, demanding answers about their shared history with humanity. Scholars emerged from hiding, presenting evidence that corroborated the archive's revelations. Religious leaders interpreted the event as divine intervention, claiming prophecy fulfilled. The empire's carefully constructed narrative unraveled with alarming speed, leaving power vacuums at every level of government. For Ludwig and Alitera, the immediate danger remained acute. Zinther's remaining forces regrouped, determined to suppress the uprising before it gained momentum. The couple found temporary refuge in underground resistance networks that had operated in secret for generations. These groups provided safe houses, forged documents, and access to secure communication channels. Through these connections, they learned of similar movements spreading to other planets within the Empire's sphere of influence. Earth's response to the unfolding events complicated matters further. Initial reports of the archive's contents sparked outrage among human leadership, who viewed the revelations as confirmation of Zalirian deception. Military forces mobilized along border territories, interpreting the Empire's internal turmoil as an opportunity for strategic advantage. Diplomatic channels fell silent as both sides prepared for potential conflict, oblivious to the grassroots movements advocating for peace based on shared heritage. The crisis reached its peak when Earth's fleet arrived in KSALLYS orbit, responding to intelligence reports of Imperial weakness. Alitera intercepted encrypted transmissions revealing plans for a preemptive strike against key Zalirian installations. Working with resistance members, she and Ludwig devised a daring plan to prevent catastrophe. They infiltrated command centers on both sides, planting evidence of high-level conspiracies designed to maintain hostilities. The documents suggested that warmongers had manipulated historical records to justify generations of conflict. Their scheme worked too well. Both human and Zalirian authorities launched internal investigations, paralyzing military operations as trusted officers faced accusations of treason. Public opinion swung wildly as citizens processed revelations about their leaders' duplicity. Peace activists gained unprecedented influence, organizing joint demonstrations that drew millions across dozens of worlds. The princess and Ludwig became symbols of possible reconciliation, their forbidden love story spreading through media channels despite their attempts to remain anonymous. The turning point came during a global address by Earth's president and the Zalirian empress. Both leaders, facing mounting pressure from their populations, agreed to simultaneous broadcasts acknowledging the shared history. The Empress revealed her own knowledge of the suppressed archives, admitting that maintaining peace through ignorance had been her predecessor's misguided policy. Earth's president acknowledged similar decisions made by human leadership, citing fears that truth might destabilize fragile alliances. In the broadcast's final moments, Alitera and Ludwig appeared together, addressing billions across two civilizations. Standing before the ruins of the archive, they spoke of their journey from enemies to allies to lovers. The princess detailed her sacrifice of privilege for principle, while Ludwig described overcoming lifelong prejudice. Their words carried weight not just as political statements, but as testament to the possibility of genuine connection between species. The image of their clasped hands, human and Zalirian, became an instant icon of hope. The declaration of peace triggered seismic shifts across both societies. On KSLLYS, the imperial court fractured as nobles positioned themselves either for or against reconciliation. Alitera found herself navigating treacherous political waters, her actions having simultaneously elevated and endangered her status. Traditionalists sought to paint her relationship with Ludwig as betrayal, while reformists embraced it as proof of destiny. The princess leveraged her newfound popularity to push through legislation acknowledging human rights within Zalirian space, though each victory came at great personal cost. Earth faced its own challenges as governments struggled to manage public reaction. Centuries of anti-Zalirian propaganda required careful dismantling, with historians working overtime to rewrite textbooks and media outlets scrambling to adjust their narratives. Economic interests complicated matters further, as corporations protested the dissolution of profitable war industries. Ludwig became an unofficial ambassador, traveling between worlds to facilitate understanding while wrestling with his own place in this new reality. Their relationship evolved under intense scrutiny from both species. Media coverage ranged from romanticized portrayals to vicious attacks questioning their authenticity. Security concerns mounted as extremist groups emerged on both sides, viewing their union as threat to racial purity. The couple learned to communicate through coded messages and private channels, developing an intricate system of signals to warn each other of danger. Their meetings became carefully orchestrated events blending public diplomacy with stolen moments of intimacy. Scientific communities on both worlds focused intently on their physiological compatibility, studying the bioelectric phenomena that occurred during their contact. Researchers discovered that their combined energy signatures created unique harmonic patterns, suggesting potential applications in medical and technological fields. This scientific interest brought both opportunity and complication, as various factions sought to exploit their connection for personal gain. Alitera and Ludwig had to navigate these advances while protecting their privacy and autonomy. A new threat emerged from the shadows of both civilizations, clandestine organizations dedicated to preserving the old order. Calling themselves the Pure Accord, they operated across species lines, uniting extremists who viewed interspecies cooperation as abomination. Their first major operation targeted a joint research facility studying human Zalirian genetics. The attack killed dozens of scientists and destroyed years of collaborative work, sending shockwaves through both communities. Security footage revealed members wearing masks combining human and Zalirian features, a grim statement about their unity in hatred. Alitera received intel suggesting the Pure Accord planned to assassinate key figures promoting reconciliation, including herself and Ludwig. Their protection detail expanded dramatically, incorporating agents from both species specially trained to counter cross-cultural threats. The couple found themselves living in fortified compounds, their movements strictly controlled. Despite these precautions, assassination attempts came frighteningly close. Poisoned food at state dinners, explosive devices hidden in diplomatic gifts, even sleeper agents embedded within their security teams. The situation escalated when the Pure Accord released a manifesto detailing their vision for galactic segregation. Their arguments, though hateful, carried disturbing logic that resonated with certain populations. They cited historical conflicts between species as proof that coexistence inevitably led to cultural dilution and eventual extinction. Their propaganda machine proved sophisticated, utilizing advanced media manipulation techniques to spread fear and distrust. Support for their cause grew, particularly among disenfranchised groups who felt threatened by rapid social changes. Ludwig and Alitera responded by launching their own information campaign, sharing personal stories and scientific findings that demonstrated the benefits of cooperation. They organized public forums where citizens from both species could interact directly, fostering understanding through shared experiences. The princess used her royal influence to fund exchange programs and cultural initiatives, while Ludwig leveraged his military contacts to establish joint training exercises. Each success strengthened their position but also increased the danger they faced. The tide turned during a summit held aboard a neutral space station orbiting a binary star system. Representatives from both species gathered to formalize their new relationship, unaware that the Pure Accord had infiltrated the event's security team. Alitera and Ludwig noticed subtle irregularities in staff behavior, their intimate understanding of each other allowing them to detect what others missed. Acting on instinct, they implemented emergency protocols minutes before the planned attack, evacuating delegates to secure locations while drawing attention to themselves. The ensuing confrontation became legend. Trapped in the station's central observation deck, they faced a squad of assassins armed with weapons designed to disrupt their unique bioelectric connection. As attacks intensified, something remarkable occurred. Their combined energy signatures created an interference field that neutralized hostile technology. The phenomenon spread outward in concentric waves, disabling weapons systems and creating opportunities for counterassault. Reinforcements arrived to find the couple standing amidst unconscious attackers, surrounded by a visible aura of protective energy. This display of unity proved decisive. Recordings of the event circulated widely, providing tangible proof of their compatibility. Scientists rushed to study the phenomenon, dubbing it harmonic resonance. The term entered popular culture as symbol of hope, appearing in art, literature, and media across both civilizations. Opposition to their relationship weakened significantly as people recognized their connection as something beyond romance, a literal force for peace and protection. The Pure Accord fractured under the weight of this evidence. Many members defected, unable to reconcile their beliefs with observable reality. Those who remained retreated to the shadows, their influence diminished but not eliminated. Alitera and Ludwig used this victory to push through comprehensive reforms, establishing institutions dedicated to studying and promoting harmonic resonance. Their efforts created new opportunities for collaboration while providing measurable benefits that silenced remaining critics. With opposition waning, focus shifted to building lasting foundations for interspecies cooperation. Alitera and Ludwig spearheaded the creation of the Concordance Institute, a research facility dedicated to exploring the possibilities of harmonic resonance. Located in orbit around KSALLYS's third moon, the station attracted scientists from both species eager to study their unique connection. Early experiments revealed applications in medicine, energy production, and even artificial intelligence development, each discovery generating more support for their cause. Their personal relationship matured alongside these developments. Living arrangements alternated between KSALLYS and Earth's orbital colonies, allowing them to experience each other's cultures fully. Protocol demanded separate quarters during official functions, but they found creative ways to maintain intimacy. Private gardens on the Institute's grounds became their sanctuary, filled with plants from both worlds that thrive together in carefully balanced ecosystems. These spaces provided refuge from escalating responsibilities as their roles evolved from symbols of peace to active architects of a new society. Political pressures mounted as they navigated increasingly complex diplomatic landscapes. Earth's governments required assurances about maintaining human sovereignty, while Zalirian nobility demanded guarantees of cultural preservation. The couple developed innovative solutions that respected both perspectives, crafting policies that emphasized shared goals over individual interests. Their ability to mediate disputes earned them respect even from former adversaries, transforming criticism into cautious approval. Scientific breakthroughs accelerated as researchers identified additional compatible pairs exhibiting harmonic resonance. These discoveries led to the establishment of harmony centers across both civilizations, facilities where individuals could explore potential connections under controlled conditions. Success stories emerged daily, each new relationship strengthening the bonds between species. Alitera and Ludwig attended many of these unions, their presence lending legitimacy to what had once been considered impossible. Years later, the galaxy bore little resemblance to the divided realm where their story began. Human and Zalirian children played together in parks where hybrid flora bloomed, their laughter echoing through cities designed to accommodate both species. Trade flourished along routes once patrolled by warships, with spacecraft bearing mixed crews becoming commonplace. The Concordance Institute expanded into a network of research facilities, its discoveries transforming lives across countless worlds. Harmonic resonance proved foundational to advances in medicine, energy, and artificial intelligence that benefited all intelligent species. Alitera and Ludwig remained at the heart of this transformation, their roles evolving from pioneers to elder statesbeings. They watched with pride as their children, the first documented case of successful interspecies reproduction, grew into adulthood, their unique abilities hinting at possibilities yet to be fully understood. Younger generations viewed them as living legends, their story taught in schools as example of courage and conviction. Yet they never lost sight of their humble beginnings, often retreating to the ruins where it all began to reflect on their journey. The legacy of their love extended far beyond personal happiness. It demonstrated that barriers between species, however formidable, could be overcome through understanding and perseverance. Their story inspired countless others to seek connections beyond traditional boundaries, creating a tapestry of relationships that enriched every participating culture. Even former members of the Pure Accord acknowledged the positive changes, many finding purpose in promoting rather than opposing integration. As they stood together watching a sunset that painted KSALLYS's skies in colors visible to both their species, Ludwig and Alitera knew their work would continue through those they'd inspired. Their forbidden love had indeed changed the course of history, proving that sometimes breaking rules could forge stronger bonds than blind obedience ever could. Like, subscribe, and join us next time for more incredible stories that challenge our understanding of what's possible in this vast universe we share.